G'day folks, this is Raymond Foster. Hope you're doing great. In this video we're going to take a look at how the degrading, the erosion of Aboriginal culture and Aboriginal population's connection to their culture and country is a direct result of anti-whiteism. Instead of allowing Aboriginals to embrace their culture and their ways, learn their traditions, instead, Aboriginals are advertised by anti-whites with cultural education, hoping that they will find some connection to their ways, their people, their ancestors, But instead, the anti-whites set them up, and instead of showing them, so like for example, it'll be a TV show, it'll be a movie, a TV series, an event, a protest, etc, 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 all supposedly in the name of Aboriginal interests and supporting Aboriginals in their efforts to connect with their culture and their ways and their ancestors, their country. Yet, it's always, when promoted by anti-whites, instead of that, instead of a connection to culture, which could bring the crime rate down, which could even out the incarceration rate. Majority of people in prison in Australia are Aboriginals, if you're unaware. Why? Because they haven't got a connection to their culture. So, if you haven't got a connection to your culture, what are you going to do but go out and commit crimes? Of course, it makes perfect sense, alright? I know that from my own experience, when I wasn't connected to my culture and my people, my ancestors, with a love for my race. Alright? So, instead of helping Aboriginals connect to their culture, anti-whites create more problems, right? So they'll have a protest about the incarceration rates of Aboriginals. And instead of addressing the problem and saying, well, the problem is it's because of anti-whites not allowing the Aboriginals to connect to their culture. But instead of actually addressing the subject correctly and trying to solve the problem, anti-whites took over the event and made it about hating white people, right? So that's fundamental there, how you can tell if anti-whites are trying to sabotage the Aboriginal people and use Aboriginals to simply just turn them into mindless anti-white zombies, useful idiots that can hate white people for them. Because that's what anti-whites want. That's what that's what they're about. They hate Western kind. They hate me because I'm a white man. All right, they hate me because of my race. Nothing else. Just because of my race. Just because of the race I was born into. It wasn't my choice, but they hate me because of my race. Alright, that's anti-whites for you. So instead of allowing Aboriginals to connect to their culture and love their people and their race and bring down the crime rates, lower the incarceration rates of Aboriginals in prison, etc., the anti-whites would rather Aboriginals focus on hating white people like them instead of loving their own people and connecting to their own culture and traditions. So the reason the incarceration rate of Aboriginals is so high in Australia, even though they're a small population, they make up a majority of the jails, right? Is because anti-whites have them focusing on a hatred of white people instead of them connecting back to their own culture so that they can actually feel fulfilled, be happy, have a sense of purpose and connection and meaning, a sense of love and direction, knowing where you come from and where you're going, yeah? Because if you don't have that, you feel lost. More Aboriginals go to jail, more Aboriginals die in jail, alright? That's why they're talking about white people. That's why they want you to focus on white people. That's why they want you to hate white people, so you don't focus on your people, your culture, your traditions, your ancestors, and connect back to your Aboriginal traditions and ancestors and lower the incarceration rates so less of your people die in prison. That's what I want as an advocate of white well-being. I want to help protect and fight for the Aboriginal people, and I do every day. But anti-whites, the same people who want to harm me and my race, are purposely harming Aboriginals just to get at me and my race, to just harm white folk. So, if you're an Aboriginal and somebody comes to you and says, you know, oh yeah, we want to help you learn about your ways and stuff, and then they start talking about hating white people or blaming white people, you know they don't want you to learn about your traditions and your cultures. They're trying to get you to hate on white people instead of learning your faith and your traditions and your country and your ways. Distracting you from connecting to your tribe and your country by hating on another group. Alright? Whereas if they actually are talking about your languages, your people's languages, your tribal lands, your country, right? Your traditional ways, the way you used to hunt, alright? Your traditional hunting grounds and things like this, learning the old ways. If that's what they're talking about, that's good. They're actually trying to help you with your Aboriginal culture and learn your ways. But as soon as they mention any white people, they don't care about you, alright? They're trying to use you to get at me and my race and my people. They want to destroy both our races, take all of our lands, destroy all of our connection to our culture and traditions and language, so we forget everything, and instead of learning anything, as Aboriginal people, you just point at and hate white people and then forget even more. Until you don't know any language, you don't know any tradition, you have nothing left. Why? Because the anti-whites tricked the Aboriginals into hating white people instead of focusing on their own culture and having a connection to it. If you actually care for Aboriginal people, you don't talk about anything about the white race, alright? The white race has nothing to do with Aboriginal people and their well-being. You focus on their well-being, their people, their tribe, their languages, etc. And if you bring up white people ever at all, or the white race, or what the whites did to the Aboriginal, anything like that, it's a distraction. That's anti-whites who are trying to trick Aboriginals to forget their culture and ways, to use them just to hate white people, to promote Aboriginal erasure and white erasure until both of our peoples are gone, and then they give away Australia to the foreigners and immigrants. Okay? So it's about time Aboriginals and whites work together, because if we don't, our country is fucking gone and we'll all have nothing. Yeah? They're pitting us against each other, whites versus Aboriginals. The oldest people have been living here as mates for hundreds of years. We've always got along. But now they're pitting us against each other so that they can steal the country from both of us. Yeah? They're not taking it from white people to give back to the Aboriginals. No, they're taking it from whites and Aboriginals to give to everyone else, and then leaving us with nothing. Yeah? So if we want to save our lands, and if the Aboriginal people want to save their traditions and cultures, right, and their languages, and their country, their land, we're going to have to work together as a team. They can't have this, oh, blame the white man, or, you know, and turn against Aboriginals. No, we're going to have to work together as a team. Otherwise, we're all going to lose our country. We're all going to lose our traditions, our languages, our ways. That's enough for today's video, folks. Take it easy. Catch you next time.